What's up, awesome YouTubers? Rhine1988 or Justin back here to do a video for you all. I hope you're all doing well out there, and today is my first episode of my brand new series that I'm doing this year, and probably going to continue on. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, but that is a top 10 series surrounding the horror movie genre. And I thought I would kick off this series with my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time, plus some honorable mentions that I want to talk about. But before I get to that, I just want to say a huge thank you for your love and support as always. It truly means a lot to me, guys. I'm at 4,000 and then 4,070 subscribers, or 4,070 subscribers, however you want to put that together. Just thank you guys so much for that. That really means a lot to me. I've been doing this for a long time. I still have fun doing it. I'm going to get back into making more videos this year. Kind of took a break last year a little bit towards the end, but I love videos. I love making videos. I love watching videos. I love YouTube in general. I love this community that we have. I love the friendships I've made and the people I talk to, many of you guys who I talk to. So just once again, thank you for that love and support. It really means a lot to me. And let me know what you guys think of this brand new series. What are some topics that you guys would like me to do? They're all going to be top 10 topics, and it could be movies. It could be anything within the horror movie genre. That's something that, I want to continue on doing. Horror movies, that's my main love. My main love for film is the horror movie genre. So that's, really kind of what surrounds the channel itself, besides physical media and positivity. Horror movies, that is the main stuff that I love to talk about. But of course, I love talking about a lot of different other genres, but the main one is horror movie genre. So feel like I'm rambling now. I do apologize, but just once again, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for letting this channel keep growing, guys. And you guys are the best. So let's get started with my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time, plus some honorable mentions. So let's get started with the 4 honorable mentions, which, by the way, range from my top 15 to my top 25 favorite horror movies. And then we'll get started with my initial 10. So the first honorable mention is the original Brian De Palma Carrie. Absolutely love this movie. Cast is perfect. The soundtrack is great. The score is great. Very suspenseful, very eerie. It's one of the first films that made me fall in love with movies. You're going to hear me say that a couple times in this video. But yeah, I love Carrie, and it still holds up today, and it's a film that never gets old, in my opinion. Not coming in, but still going on with my honorable mentions. We have The Conjuring, the only kind of modern horror movie on this list, but this is almost 10 years old, which is crazy to think that. But The Conjuring, one of my favorite haunted house movies, one of my favorite horror movies, and one of my favorite movies in general. I love this James Wan movie. This is my favorite one from James Wan, but there's so many great ones out there. Dead Silence and Insidious and Saw, so many great ones. But The Conjuring, still love it today, still holds up very well. And just, a modern classic, I dare say. So I'm going to say it's a modern classic movie. I love it. You got to talk about Universal monster films. For me, I'm a big Universal monster fan. I love watching those movies from time to time, but my go-to one is Creature from the Black Lagoon. I love the sequel to this as well, Revenge of the Creature. Third movie's okay. I don't dislike it as much as I did the first time. It's not like a bad movie, but it's not one of my go-to ones. But Creature from the Black Lagoon, the character in general, I love. Eerie movie, still very effective today. And yeah, I just love that movie. And then, of course, even though I don't have this in my top 10, I have to talk about this movie. It's one of those horror movies that forever will be one of my favorites, and one of my favorite movies in general. And it's kind of made a mark in the horror movie genre history. And that is Night of the Living Dead, George A. Romero's classic movie. Dawn of the Dead is another one of my favorites. Day of the Dead is a great one. I'm a big George A. Romero fan. Rest in peace to him. But of course, I got to talk about Night of the Living Dead. I just love this movie. I adore this movie. Still one of the best today, and just a great one. So those are my 4 honorable mentions, guys. Again, not in my top 10, but definitely in my top 15, top 25. There's some other great ones out there that I might talk about in the future, but those are some honorable mentions. So let's get started with my top 10, guys. All right, guys, getting started with my top 10. At number 10 is Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Just a great movie here. A film that I watch every Christmas Eve. It's a traditional movie of mine to watch the day before Christmas. And then on Christmas Day, I watch Bob Clark's Christmas Story. So 2 Christmas movies, 2 opposite Christmas movies, directed by the late and great Bob Clark. But Black Christmas, guys, a film that holds up almost 50 years later, still today. Very creepy, very effective. Cast is great. I love Olivia Hussey. She is one of my favorite final girls. And this is a very creepy film. So if you've never seen this movie, definitely give this one a watch. Either in the month of December this year or any time at all. Like, I could watch this movie any time of the year and just still love the film. And it's definitely a film that I at least have to watch once a year, again on Christmas Eve. But sometimes I'll pop it in either 2 or 3 times a year. But yeah, Black Christmas, guys. That is a must for any horror movie fan. You got to give that one a watch if you've never seen it. Coming in at number 9 is the original Evil Dead. So I go back and forth a lot of the times. Do I prefer the first movie or Evil Dead 2? I love them both. Those are my favorite ones of the franchise. Evil Dead 2 is just so much fun. It still has some of the scares, but it's a lot of fun. But the reason why I prefer the original film over Evil Dead 2, over any of the movies in the franchise, is I love how groundbreaking it was. In my opinion, it was groundbreaking. That low budget feel that, kind of you see in the movie, obviously. I love the charm of that. The practical effects are great. The scares are great. This is a movie that when I saw it for the first time, I had no idea what I was watching. All I knew is I was hearing about this movie. So I got a VHS copy of it, a used VHS copy of it, popped it in my VHS player, and was so in awe with this movie. And still today when I watch it, I'm in awe with the film. I just love it so much. Evil Dead, guys, number 9 for me. Sam Raimi's classic. Absolutely love it. Coming in at number 8 is Dario Argento's Suspiria. The first time I saw this movie was when I got that 2-disc DVD from Blue Underground, and it scared me. Like, I was just, again, not really knowing too much about this movie. I was hearing things about the film, and so of course I had to watch it. This is obviously one of my favorite horror movies. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's my favorite giallo horror movie, Italian horror movie. I just love this so much. So if you guys have yet to see Suspiria, which I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video you have, but if you're one of the rare people watching this video, and if you haven't seen the original Suspiria, definitely check it out. I love the remake as well. I love the movie Inferno, which is a follow-up to this film. Big fan of those movies, but Suspiria, it is the best. I'm also a fan of Mother of Tears. I don't think that movie is bad as people make it out to be. But when it comes to the Three Mothers trilogy, when it comes to all those movies, Suspiria is my favorite. I love this. So if you guys have never seen it, check that one out. Coming in at number 7 is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original film, the snapper case goodness. Not really. I mean, this is kind of nostalgic now, but until we get a awesome box set, I have the Blu-ray set that we have. I have a steelbook, and I have the DVD box set. And I love the original artwork, so I pulled out the good old snapper case DVD to show you. But Nightmare on Elm Street, like many of these movies, is just a groundbreaking horror movie for the time that it came out. And it's still pretty groundbreaking today. Still very creepy, very effective. Tina's death, leading up to Tina's death, all that stuff scares me. It's still creepy today, gives you goosebumps, gives me goosebumps at least. And this movie traumatized me as a kid, being a 5-year-old sitting behind a couch, not knowing what I was watching. I wasn't supposed to be watching it, but it was on a VHS that my older sister's friend brought over, and I just remember going in the living room, sitting behind a couch, and just being terrified of this movie and not being able to move. That's how terrifying it was for me. And I did not watch this movie until I was 16 after that. So, yeah, it very much had an effect on me. It still does today, but obviously it's one of my favorites. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven, rest in peace. Love the man, love this movie, love a lot of things about the film. Freddy Krueger, Nancy Thompson, great classic characters. So coming in at number 6 is another film in the Elm Street franchise, which is the rare thing to do on my list. Every other film, I've only had one movie, if there is a franchise, to make it on the list. But I love this Nightmare film. It is a film that is my go-to of the franchise. I think Heather Langenkamp is fantastic in this. I think Robert Englund is fantastic and scary. But really, the star of this movie, the one that just gives the best performance, is Heather Langenkamp, and that is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So Miko Hughes, I don't want to take away from his performance. He is one of the best child actors that we had. Pet Sematary, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Just great in this movie. But this movie, for me, is still effective today, still creepy. It's a film that when it came out, it did not do well at the box office, and not really anybody was talking about it too much, I don't think. But over the years, more and more people are talking about it, more and more people are watching it, and while it might not be everybody's favorite Nightmare movie, it's definitely mine. It's a groundbreaking movie in the franchise because it was doing something different, which I loved. And again, you have fantastic performances here. Heather Langenkamp is amazing in this movie. I've always loved her as Nancy, but I really love her in this movie. And she's playing herself, but she's fantastic in this. Robert Englund, outside the makeup, in the makeup in this movie, he's great. When, you don't see Freddy on screen, you still feel his presence. He still is affecting people in this movie. You feel that when you watch the movie. He doesn't have to be on screen to be scary. I mean, the character is just scary in this film. But yeah, Robert Englund is fantastic in this film as well. So this is my favorite Wes Craven movie. I love it. It is my favorite Elm Street film. Obviously one of my favorite horror movies, and one of my favorite movies in general. So Wes Craven's New Nightmare, fantastic. If you're not a big fan of it, if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it. Give it another watch and check it out, and maybe you'll have a different opinion on it. I absolutely love it. So coming in at number 5 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original film, the one that started it all in the franchise. And it's a fun franchise. There are movies that I love in the franchise, and there are films that I don't love in the franchise, but I can watch pretty much all of them and find, something entertaining about them. I'm looking forward to seeing what the new one's going to be like, but for me, always the best one is the original. I love this film. I think this is fantastic. Tobe Hooper, another director. I hate to say rest in peace, but a lot of these directors, some of them I've talked about, have passed away, which is really sad. Tobe Hooper, I miss him today, like many of these directors I talked about that are no longer with us. Tobe Hooper had a lot of great movies that came out, and I feel like he was one of the underrated directors in the genre. Some great movies that he directed that, either people talk about or don't know about. Eaten Alive, The Funhouse, Toolbox Murders, Poltergeist, which some people say Steven Spielberg directed it, but even though he had an influence with it, even though he wrote it, I still give the director's hat to Tobe Hooper because he brought a lot to the movie as well. But his best one, in my opinion, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love this movie still today. Almost 20 years later since I've seen this film, it still holds up well. It's still very effective today. Very creepy. Absolutely love this. From the character Sally to the character Leatherface, who's iconic. The great cast in general, guys. The low budget feel that this movie has, because it was low budget. It's still just very effective today, guys. So the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, absolutely love that. Coming in at number 4 is Psycho, the original Alfred Hitchcock movie. So where do I start with this film? Again, the cast is fantastic. Anthony Perkins, rest in peace to him, Anthony Perkins, playing Norman Bates. He is great. Janet Leigh is amazing in this movie. Iconic scene, obviously, with the shower and how it surprised people back then that she kind of died 30 minutes into the movie. Great cast in general, guys. I've said this about a lot of these movies. It's still very effective today, still groundbreaking today for a horror movie, and one that still holds up today. So absolutely love Psycho. Coming in at number 3 is a film that when it came out, a lot more people loved it than they do today. And I don't know if it's because, the subgenre, there's just so many movies that have come out, a lot of found footage films. But I still love this movie today. I always have an awesome time watching it. I have so many memories with this film, and that is the Blair Witch Project. So it came out in 1999, and I remember renting this movie on VHS from Blockbuster, the good old Blockbuster days. And I think I watched this movie at least like 3 times before we returned it. The movie is still creepy today. I'm gonna try not to say effective anymore, but it is a film that is very effective. And I just absolutely love the Blair Witch Project. So, great movie, in my opinion. Awesome movie in my opinion, and one that I love. So, the Blair Witch Project. Again, not everybody loves it now, but I will always cherish that movie and love it. So coming in at number 2 is the original Fright Night. In my opinion, the best Fright Night. Even though Fright Night Part 2, the sequel to this, is amazing, this is still my favorite. The remake, it's grown on me over the years. I think it's pretty good now, but when it comes to Fright Night, this is hands down, like, way better in my opinion. Fright Night, I love it. I love the story. I love the cast. I love the writing, the directing. The love story in this film. You actually have 2 love stories in this film. You have Charlie and Amy, and then you have Amy and Jerry Dandridge. Just love this movie so much. The practical effects in the film are still some of the best today. I love them. This movie is funny at times, but in my opinion, it's still a lot more scarier than funny. You still have some very eerie moments in this movie. You have iconic moments. The score, the soundtrack is amazing. If you've never seen Fright Night, if you've never seen the original movie, or if you haven't seen it in a long time, give this one a rewatch, guys. Buy this movie. Check it out. This is one of those highly recommended films, in my opinion. So I'm going to recommend it to all of you guys. And coming in at number 1 as my favorite horror movie of all time, I think everybody knows that this is my favorite horror movie and my favorite movie of all time, and that is the original John Carpenter's Halloween, guys. So this movie, out of all the films that I've talked about, has the most impact for me. Seeing it back in 97 on USA, and then watching Halloween 2 right after that, was the first time I saw this movie. And it creeped me out. Like, I had no idea what I was watching, but, my mom was a fan of it. I remember watching it with her, and then just watching it over the years. This is a film that I go back to talking about my mom, that we both have the same love for. We love the franchise. We love Halloween. This is just one of those films that I cherish with my mom. I love the memories I have watching this with her. And I just love this movie in general. This is a film that made me fall in love with the horror movie genre. It made me fall in love with movies. I became a fan of films because of this. I'd seen movies obviously before this, but, this movie just has an impact on me. And it did when I first saw it. It still does now. Many years owning so many different copies of this film. I'll probably still buy so many copies of this movie if they come out. But yeah, Halloween for me, absolutely love it, guys. Carpenter's classic film. I love a lot of Carpenter movies, but this is my favorite. So you got Carpenter, you got Deborah Hill, who was co-writer and producer. Rest in peace to her. Miss you, Deborah Hill. Jamie Lee Curtis is amazing. The cast is amazing. Donald Pleasance, I can't forget to talk about him. Dr. Loomis, he is still the best. Love him. And then, of course, Michael Myers, very iconic character and, you know, still creepy in this movie. So, but yes, Halloween, my favorite horror movie of all time, and it's my favorite movie. I love that. So, guys, hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of this brand new series I'm going to do, talking everything horror movies, the horror movie genre, top 10 videos, guys. Let me know what you guys think of my list. What are some of your favorite, if not your top 10 favorite horror movies of all time? And let me know what you guys would like to see in this series. So, you know, I have a lot of things in mind that I want to do within the genre. It could be Blu-rays, it could be movies in general. It could be, you know, just topics, again, within the genre of horror movies that I want to do. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys have fun with this. I'll try to make one of these videos every week, if not every 2 weeks, mixing with other videos that I want to do, intertwining other videos. But this is a brand new series that I want to do. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And once again, just thank you for that love and support, guys. You guys are the best, and I've created a lot of friendships, met some great friends, talked to great people still today. And I love meeting people still today because of YouTube. So thank you guys once again. Your love and support means a lot to me. And so as always, you guys are awesome. You guys rock. And with the positive, out with the negative. Go eat some Skittles. So much love to you all. And remember, the most important thing is to be yourself, because you are beautiful and you are amazing, guys. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.